Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Srimad-Bhagavatam, Canto 8, Chapter 9, texts 20 and 21, translation and commentary by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. We'll together recite text 21. Daityan Grihita Kalasaha Vanchayan Upasancharai Dura Sthan Payayam Asa Jara Mrityu Haram Sudham Daityan Grihita Kalasa Vanchayan Upasancharai Durasthan Payayam Asa Jara Mrityu Harang Sudham Daityan Grihita Kalaso Vanchayan Upasancharai Durasthan Payayam Asa Jara Mrityu Harang Sudham. Daityan Grihita Kalaso Durasthan Payayam Asa Jara Mrityu Haram Sudham Daityan Grihita Kalaso Upchayan Upasancharai Durasthan Payayam Asa Jara Mrityu Haram Sudham Daityan Grihita Kalaso Vanchayan Upasancharai Durasthan Payayam Asa Jara Mrityu Haram Sudham Daityan Grihita Kalaso Vanchayan Upasancharai Durasthan Payayam Asa Mrityu Harang Sudham. Ladies, please. Daityan Grihita Kalaso Vanchayan Upasancharai Durayam Payayam Asa Jara Mrityu Haram Sudham Daityan grihita kalaso vanchayan upasancharaihi durastham payayam asa jaramrityu haram sudham Daityan grihita kalaso vanchayan upasancharaihi durastham payayam asa jaramrityu haram sudhan. First I'll read text 20. Kalpayitva pritak panktir ubhaye sham jagatpatihi tangs chopaveshayam asa sveshu sveshu chapanktishu. The Supreme Personality of Godhead as Mohini Murti, the Master of the Universe, arranged separate lines of sitting places and seated the demigods and demons according to their positions. In translation of verse 21, taking the container of nectar in her hands, she first approached the demons, satisfied them with sweet words, and thus cheated them of their share of the nectar. Then she administered the nectar to the demigods, who were sitting at a distant place, to make them free from invalidity, old age, and death. Purport. Mohini Murti, the personality of Godhead, gave the demigods seeds at a distance. Then she approached the demons and spoke with them very graciously, so that they thought themselves very fortunate to talk with her. Since Mohini Murti had seated the demigods at a distant place, the demons thought that the demigods would only get a little of the nectar, and that Mohini Murti was so pleased with the demons that she would give the demons all the nectar. The words vanchayan upasancharaihi indicate that the Lord's whole policy was to cheat the demons simply by speaking sweet words. The Lord's intention was to distribute the nectar only to the demigods. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurin Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Nama Shreshtham Manamapi Shachi Putramatra Swarupam Rupam Tasya Grajamurupuring Mathurim Goshtavatim Radha Kundam Girivaramaho Radhika Madhavasham Prapto Yasya Pratita Kripaya Shri Gurum Tamnatosmi Vandeham Shri Guru Shriyataf Padakamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavangscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sagana Raghunatan Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishaka Vitangscha. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. In verse 20 is the word Jagatpati, a male term. The Supreme Personality of Godhead in drag. Maybe we should tell all the hijras to worship Mohini Murti. Yeah, it's one kind of preaching. They must have some devata for their caste. Every caste has their own devata. It was cheating that he took the form of she. The very name Mohini suggests cheating. She took this form to put the demons into illusion. They're already in illusion. Everyone in the material world is in illusion. But specifically in the matter of not giving them the nectar of immortality, which is also another kind of cheating, because the real nectar of immortality is Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. The holy names, Namamrita. That really gives immortality. But she specifically took this form to cheat them. She spoke sweet words to them and appeared to be very cold-hearted. Most people couldn't do that. They couldn't take people into their confidence and make them feel friendly and then right in front of them cheat them. Most people couldn't do that. You have to be cold-hearted to brazenly cheat people in this way. Of course, it can be the mother cheats the child by offering a sweet and then pushing quickly into the child's mouth bitter medicine that the child doesn't want to take. But from the demon's point of view, they were simply cheated. It was simply hard-heartedness on the part of this beautiful woman who they couldn't believe, they couldn't imagine would cheat them in such a way, because the great illusion of this material world, one of the many great illusions, is that a beautiful body must be accompanied by a beautiful heart. That if someone's very beautiful, a woman is very beautiful and speaks very sweetly and smiles at you, then she must be very nice. But it's not necessarily true. And in many cases, it's just the opposite. In fact, some were trained to seduce people and then kill them by the poison in their lips. And it goes on up to the present day. There's the, not the poison on the lips thing, Vishakanya, poisonous girls. But it goes on to the present day. It's a standard tactic used in spying or trying to discredit someone, honey trapping. That means you send a beautiful woman to seduce a man, say he's already married, and then someone comes and discovers them and blackmails him. You have to give us information, otherwise we're going to make this public. Do they train you in the army, in the officers' corps, to beware of this?
Yeah, there were many warnings, such warnings.
Many warnings. Beware of attractive women who try to seduce you, because they may have another motive. So the Supreme Personality of Godhead is the biggest cheat, and cheating is going on. It's the world of the cheaters and the cheated, and I'll take this opportunity afforded by the discussion of the cheating of Mohini to go on, to continue from yesterday discussing the topic of cheating in general. There's so much of it, and if you look around the internet, if you know how to look around, you can find so many exposés of cheating, in so many ways. I gave some examples yesterday. It's widely considered that the 9/11, September the 11th, 2001, is that right? I think it is. When the World Trade Towers were supposedly felled, the World Trade Towers and some building at the Pentagon were felled by planes flying into them. It wasn't actually as the official story goes. And JFK assassination, John F. Kennedy, who you may never have heard of. Just like now, the President of America is Donald Trump. Everyone's heard of him. If we fast forward ourselves in time 50 years, probably most people wouldn't have heard of him. So there are so many accusations of conspiracies, which means cheating, that people just don't know what to believe at all. Just like this coronavirus, was it actually coming by natural causes, or was it a virus made in China as biowarfare, which accidentally leaked out in the city of Wuhan, which also no one outside of China probably had ever heard of, and now is famous all over the world? Or was it made in America to get the Chinese and others, and it's gone out of control? So many conspiracy theories, people don't know what to believe. But some things are so gross, well, they get exposed, just like this claim that Iraq had weapons of mass destruction, therefore we have to go in there and liberate them from this dictator. His name was also very famous. I'm struggling to remember what it's Saddam Hussein. His name was very famous at the time. Now, they didn't feel it necessary to liberate people in the same part of the world from their dictators, just like in Saudi Arabia, in Kuwait, and all these other Gulf states. They don't have to be liberated from dictators, but Iraq had to be liberated. What about did you ever see there's this thing, what is that, Skripal or something, these Russians in England they were poisoned, highly suspect. Anyway, there are so many people pointing out cheating, but you can't stop it. You can make all big websites and 9/11 Truth Committee or something like this, and ISKCON Truth Committee. But you can't, even if you point it out, you can't stop the cheating. And even it's been exposed that this weapons of mass destruction was just a false plea. The people the heads of state, George W. Bush, I think it was, and Tony Blair, they get away with it. There's no criminal charges. They misled their own people, sent their own soldiers to die, and killed many other people also, on a completely false claim, and they get away with it. So cheating will go on. So why should we bother to point it out? Why should we bother to point out the cheating? Well, because we can give a solution. The solution to cheating is to give the actual truth. So the overall atmosphere of cheating, that will continue as long as people do not surrender to Krishna. The Krishna conscious movement can give the actual solution to all cheating by giving real knowledge, actual knowledge of what is real. Is it true that John F. Kennedy was assassinated by a CIA plot, or was it actually done by Lee Harvey Oswald? Is it true? What is true? Well, whatever's true, in one sense it doesn't matter, because JFK and Lee Harvey Oswald and what was the other one, Jerry Rubin or someone, he shot Lee Harvey Oswald, so he couldn't testify that I was put up to do it by the CIA, so some people say. So there was who did what? But everyone is being cheated or self-cheating by avoiding the reality that we're all eternal living beings. We all have our eternal relationship with Krishna, and we're supposed to surrender to Him. And as long as we don't, we remain in this material world, and we'll cheat others. People complain if they're cheated, but they also cheat others if they get the opportunity. Or they make the opportunity. There are people who make their whole livelihood based on cheating others. Either burglars or by inside trading on stocks and so many different ways. They make their whole livelihood by cheating others. Their whole life goes like that. So unless we understand that our real happiness and our real benefit is at the lotus feet of Krishna, then we'll continue birth after birth to reside in this world of cheaters and cheated. And we'll believe all kinds of things which aren't true, such as, I can really improve my life by studying very hard and getting a good college degree. For instance, practically anything which people believe. I will be happy if my cricket team wins the league. Superficially, that appears to be true, but it's not real happiness. It's artificial, temporary, and very limited happiness, and it's mixed with a lot of unhappiness. So by giving this, Krishna conscious movement can give the actual solution to all cheating and all suffering in this material world. Plus there is a practical process. It's not just some imaginary idea, and it's not just understanding, but one actually has to act on that platform. It's not a matter of going to a course, Bhakti Shastra course, studying, getting a degree, but one actually has to take up the process of surrendering to Krishna by hearing and chanting about him and serving him in the association of and under the guidance of pure devotees. This is the process to get free from cheating. So this world is cheating, inside out, upside down, back to front, left to right. However you look, some scientists have proposed there may be different dimensions. We generally think of the directions: length, height, breadth, and time. 3 dimensions of space and one more dimension called time. And the whole of science goes on this, starting with this observation. But they've proposed that there may be many other dimensions of space. What about different dimensions of time? Time just goes forward. It could go back. What about other unimaginable dimensions? How many dimensions? We can imagine 2 dimensions of time. Like when we talk of time travel, we think of either going backward or forward. Well, what about going sideways? We can't even imagine it. Can you go sideways in time? No, you can only go sideways in space. So anyway, Krishna conscious begins with the understanding that we are not the body, but as we may have noticed, we are in the body. Not only do we notice it, we're trying our best in Krishna consciousness to unnotice it. To not be aware to be aware that we're not the body. But as long as we're in this world, we have to be cognizant of the situation of this world. And therefore, we find in the Bhagavatam so much description of the nature of this material world. The Bhagavatam is pointing us toward the spiritual world, but especially we find in the 5th canto an elaborate description of the labyrinth, that is the forest of material existence, which there's so much suffering. So Srila Prabhupada, he also in that spirit pointed out so many kinds of cheating in this world, so that Well, one reason is whoever's willing to listen to him. Don't be mesmerized by that and don't be cheated by that. To help us to understand that everything in this world, without Krishna consciousness, it's all simply asat. It's against our real self-interest. Tamasima jyotir gamaya, come out of that ignorance and go to the light. So if we don't realize that the darkness is darkness, if we don't realize how bad it is in this world, we may not get the impetus to go to the spiritual world. Srila Prabhupada said that real spiritual life begins when we are disgusted with the prospect of material happiness. Now, one of the forms of cheating or illusion that Srila Prabhupada pointed out was the concept of nationalism. And again, that derives from that. It begins with the bodily concept of life. I am this body. And janani janma bhumishcha. Janani janma bhumishcha. Swargameva gariyasi. My mother and my motherland, or my land of birth, they are more glorious to me than heaven. So this idea, based on the body, that I belong to this country, ato griha kshetra, it's simply an expansion of the identification with oneself as an enjoyer of this material world. This land is my motherland or fatherland, depending on which culture, how they perceive of it. So this nationalism has been very much promoted in the last few hundred years. Otherwise, it wasn't there. There wasn't a concept of nationalism. When monarchy broke down, then nationalism became prominent because people used to consider themselves materially subjects of a particular king or duke or whatever. Their loyalty was to him. But that gradually became, as monarchy broke down, then the politicians, they require some kind of concept to unite all the people, so this nationalism was promoted. And what actually happens is it works for the benefit of the people at the top of the pile. The big exploiters at the top of society. Everyone believes in it, that my country, as I learned at school, William Pitt the Elder, I think it was. There's William Pitt the Elder and William Pitt the Junior. And both were, and again, no one would have heard of them if they didn't teach this at school. Both were prime ministers of Britain. So William Pitt is supposed to have said his last words as he died, "My country, how I leave my country." He's in Maya. So he's a big man, but he's thinking in terms, he's not enlightened. He has a very big position. He's not a Rajarshi. He's not a king and a spiritualist at the same time. He's in the same, although he must have been highly educated, but no concept of even the beginning of spiritual understanding, no such thing. So everyone believes in this, my country, but it's the ordinary man who is sent to die for the country, not the women. Want women's liberation, then should put them on the front lines in Iraq also, if you're going to be really equal. Or nowadays it's Syria mostly, isn't it? People are literally ready to die for it. They'll give their life for their country. But what does that mean, giving your life for the country? It means that the people at the top who are making lots of money, they sit peacefully going on making lots of money, and they don't get invaded by someone else from some other country who takes over their businesses. So it's really to protect the interest of big business people. And sometimes the big business people, it's discovered that they finance both sides in the war. I was just telling you that one of ISKCON's friends, very rich man, famous man in India, he's based in London, and whoever's the Prime Minister, he's on first name terms with him. You can phone him up anytime. And he's also on first name terms with the leader of the opposition. Because in Britain, there's only a possibility in the election of the Conservative Party coming in power or the Labour Party. So he's on first name terms with both of them. Why? Because he gives them lots of money. Both. The incumbent power and the hopefuls, wannabes. Gives them plenty of money, so much so that he can call them any time, and whatever he wants done, he gets done. So they know how to get their job done, the big businessmen. Money talks. So they say everyone has got a price. You see, chaste women. $1 million? Just once, that's all. Everyone has got a price. Srila Prabhupada in an early Back to Godhead, published in the 1950s it was, I believe it was, he wrote about women giving away their most precious possession to get quinine for malaria. Giving away their most precious possession means giving away their chastity. That means they'd cohabit with the doctors to get some quinine. Maybe for their families or whatever. Malaria as an anti-malarial drug. So we can see that recently there was so much cheating in the financial system in America when the restrictions on banks were removed, and then they inflated the economy, gave people so many loans, and then the banks collapsed. And then what happened? The government pumped in money, and who pays for that? The common people. And the big financiers who did all this cheating business, they have to pay. So it's cheating. And people know, but somehow or other, I'm saying that they often finance both sides in the war and at hefty interest. They have to pay on either side. It's all based on the misunderstanding that we can be happy. Why are people demons? Because they deeply believe that we can be happy in this material world. Why do people gamble? Everyone knows that if you gamble, just like in a lottery or a casino, or nowadays they have online gambling with cards, and everyone knows that they say, come on, you can win. But everyone knows that the people who are running the gambling, they're doing so to make a profit. They're going to get your money, and there's very little chance that you're going to get their money. And often what they do in the beginning, they make you win, and then they have someone who's actually with them saying, see, you won so much money, put all your money, and that time the house wins. It's all I've seen in London. We used to do book distribution on Oxford Street, so there's so many tourists there, innocent people. They come. I mean, they're very naive is the word. And they'd set up a table, and I can't remember exactly what they did, but they're saying they'd someone who's pretending to be a bystander put some money down, And then they flip a card and then he wins a lot of money. And then other people come and see. And he tells them all, hey, you all do it too. You all put, and then they all put lots of money and then they all lose. Then they pack up the table and go 100 meters down the 100 yards in England, down the road, and start again. Just cheating, that's all. But why do people believe? The thought, I can get money, so much money, very quickly, and then I can enjoy myself. They agree to be cheated. It's all based on durasha, the false hope that I can be happy in this material world. Even if you do get lots of money, that won't necessarily make you happy. And an example that was raised in the presence of Srila Prabhupada, so it is bona fide, me talking about so many mundane things, was Hugh Hefner. He was the richest man in the world. Again, you never heard of him. Hugh Hefner, the richest man in the world, who died in complete misery. Why? Now we hear, with this coronavirus, we hear about self-quarantine, because we're afraid of the germs, right? But he did that because he self-quarantined himself because he was afraid, if I get germs, I'll die. It was some kind of phobia. And then he only had his small band of servants, and they had to wash their hands and put gloves on, new gloves every time before they came to see him. He was so afraid that if I mix with people, I'll get some germs and then I'll die. And of course he died in due course of time also. He had this idea that if I don't get any germs, I won't die. So he was very, very rich. But he was miserable, maybe one of the most miserable people in the world. Self-inflicted misery. He didn't know how to enjoy life. Yesterday you were telling me about Marshal Tito. He was also cheating. In the name of socialism, he was living a very wealthy life. But he knew how to enjoy himself. He wasn't like Hugh Hefner. He had his islands and he invited all big people. He had fancy cars and fancy clothes. Fancy clothes, so where is he now? Maybe he's become a peacock or chameleon or something. You like fancy, colorful. He's enjoying himself somewhere else. But it's this durasha, this false hope that we can be happy. So, and people take advantage, cheaters take advantage of that. And we want to be cheated because we think, I'll get something very easily and I can enjoy myself. And we trust the person. People who are cheaters are expert at behaving as if they're really trustworthy. They really like you. They're really trying to help you. They really have your best interest at heart. So Mohini Murti also, they're doing the same thing. We learned from Srila Prabhupada Lilamrita, there was someone called Mr. Price, maybe that's not his actual name, who cheated Brahmananda and some of Prabhupada's first disciples by taking $5,000 for them as a down payment for a building. And Prabhupada was always, he was in San Francisco, and Prabhupada was saying, don't give him the money, don't give him the money, don't give him the money. And they gave him the money because they thought, oh, he's our well-wisher. And he said, no, you have to do it now. You have to do it now. Now is the time. Now is the opportunity. So I thought, we don't have time to consult Prabhupada. As soon as the money was given, his whole attitude changed. So he cheated them. People believe politicians. We're acting in your best interest. They get cheated by politicians, but they believe another politician who comes. Well, increasingly people don't believe because many people don't vote because they say, what's the use? You're going to get cheated. Either get cheated by this one or you get cheated by that one. Why should I waste my time voting? They vote. They express their dissatisfaction by not voting, but that doesn't help their situation. Oh, ihante kama bhogartam anyayenartha sanchayan. Anyay, by illegal means. It's described the demons. They secure money by illegal means for sense gratification. It's described right there by Krishna in Bhagavad Gita. It's nothing new. And when Krishna comes again in the next day of Brahma to speak the Bhagavad Gita, it'll be nothing new. He'll say the same thing. Ihante kamabhogartan anyai narata sanchayan. Demoniac people, they secure money by illegal means for sense gratification. It's going to go on. In this regard, Srila Prabhupada on a morning walk on October the 17th, 1975 in Johannesburg said, there are so many organizations, especially in the Western countries, big rogues organizations, simply for cheating, simply for smuggling. They have got merit. Srila Prabhupada is here talking on the term dushkriti. So he was saying they've got merit. Dushkriti. They are capable people. They've got merit, Prabhupada said. Otherwise, how have they organized such big organizations? But what for? All mischievous activities, harassing by the governments, harassing people. I saw in Bangladesh, in Dhaka, in the capital, so many offices, bungalows of charitable organizations. They were collecting money in the West. Western-based charitable organizations. And they all had first-class bungalows, far, way above the average standard of the average Bangladeshi, with air conditioning, which was very rare in those days. And they all drove around the city in big air-conditioned jeeps, which the average Bangladeshi couldn't even dream of, collecting money in the West, and they'd have parties every night. They'd invite people from different organizations. Then I traveled extensively in the villages in Bangladesh for years. I never saw any sign of these organizations, where all the poor people are. No sign of them. They're just collecting money and having a party, that's all. One of them, what was the name? I can't remember now. It was a well-known Catholic charity. And I asked them what they're doing, then they showed me a map of Bangladesh with so many dots on it, about 90 dots. And they're all in one color except for two of them, which are another color. So I said, what's the different colors? And he said, well, these are all the projects we started which failed, and two are going on. So on the name of those two projects, they're collecting money for Bangladesh. So Prabhupada gave another example. Continuing what he said in this morning walk, all these realty businesses. Do you know what realty business is? It means property. Oh, in that regard, I'd like to cite an anecdote of one of my godbrothers told me he used to sit in an office before he joined the movement, an office in the, what's that other tall building in New York? Empire State Building. Yeah, in the Empire State Building. He was in an office and he used to phone people up from the phone book and talk to them and sell them land in Vermont or something. Completely, it's on the side of a mountain. You can't do anything with it. Say, hey, I've got this great piece of country real estate, and sell it to them. It's completely useless for any purpose whatsoever. So that's what he used to do. All these realty businesses, 75% of them are mischievous. I have got experience. 75% they are simply mischievously planning. You have got $5,000 or $10,000 to take it away, showing that you're getting $200,000 worth of property. Yeah, they say they put the money down, and then you can take this property, but in the small print there are so many things. If you don't pay the whole money within 3 weeks, you forfeit. Like this. There was something in Nellore where some two sisters wanted to give the land to Prabhupada, to ISKCON. And then but they had some condition. If you don't finish building within 2 years or 3 years, they will give the property to another organization. And it was understood, Prabhupada saw through it all. They were actually Ram Krishna mission followers, and they wanted ISKCON to build a property, and they'd make sure they didn't finish it in 2 or 3 years, and then they'd give it to the Ramakrishna mission. Prabhupada saw through it all. He wasn't cheated. In this way, Prabhupada said, they make implication. Take your $10,000 and then finished. In many cases, their only business is this. Big lawyers involved. There are people that they study law with the idea, theoretically, to be a lawyer, you should be helping to establish the law for the benefit of the citizens, but instead they study law how to cheat naive citizens. And they get in partnership with some realty broker, and they make the deed in such a way, the contract in such a way that you are cheated. Another way Prabhupada said, therefore they are dushkritinas. And another way lawyers are cheating, Prabhupada said, go to a lawyer, immediately you are implicated. You see, this man is condemned Nixon, and he has to pay the lawyer's bill by working hard by writing a book and selling the goodwill to some company. He has to pay the lawyer's bill. He has no money. The lawyers, doctors, as soon as they get some opportunity, immediately captures you and finish how to take away all your money. So someone comes in distress to a lawyer, and he doesn't see their distress. He just sees how much money I can get from them. Same thing, doctor. It's well known that who is that told me that? Oh, I believe that was Ananda Vrindavan, doctor in Apollo Hospital. So the doctors, they have a quota, how many, they have to recommend so many operations. It means in the Apollo Hospital or whatever, that so many a day he has to, oh, you need an operation. They don't need an operation, but the doctor, to get his pay, he has to recommend operations. No, actually it wasn't. It was another Ananda, local, Vaikuntha Ananda. I can't remember exactly. But they know people, they'll tell them, oh, it's very serious, you have to have an operation, and people are afraid, and they take a big loan to have the operation at a highly inflated price. They don't need the operation, but the owners of the hospital need the money, or they're just cheating people. And doctors, they take the Hippocratic oath, which is the hypocritical oath, that we're just here, we're studying so that we can help. We'll do our doctor's job just to help others, but actually they do it just to suck all the money out of you. Because artificially they have enhanced the standard of living, they want money, so they do mischievous activity, but by honest means they cannot get money. So Prabhupada gives a reason for that there are so many opportunities for sense gratification, and in the consumer society there are so many things to buy, and to be prestigious you have to drive a Mercedes-Benz car, at least. So you need money. So how are you going to get money? Well, here's a way to get money, by cheating others. Horrible, isn't it? Who likes to be cheated? Materially, people don't like to be cheated, but as we were discussing yesterday, spiritually, they do like to be cheated. We were discussing, so many bogus people come along in the name of religion. You also told me yesterday that it was just yesterday there was an earthquake in Croatia. And you told me that if you tell people that this is your karma, they'll get very angry. If you tell them in a time when there's not so much distress, you can talk to them about maybe some friends sitting outside in the village drinking beer. You see in the summer in Croatia, they sit outside under a big umbrella and drink beer together. And maybe they'll talk, hey, what do you think about karma and reincarnation? Yeah, maybe, yeah. So they don't mind in that situation, talking about philosophy. But when, why are you talking about it? It makes us more suffering, that it's we putting the blame on us. They don't like it. They're not very obviously they're not sincere to know the truth. People are actually afraid of the truth. Why when all these things are exposed, that people don't rise up and make a revolution? Well, it's too much bother. As long as you've got your beer and your girlfriend, okay, you're getting cheated, but at least you got your beer and your girlfriend. So why should you bother getting all angry and risk your... People they do rise up. They make protests and this and that, but nothing changes. Or even if they change it, just like in France, they had the French Revolution, kicked out the king who was acting as a dictator. And within a short time, they had another dictator, Napoleon Bonaparte. After killing so many people, they brought in another dictator who then plunged France into so many wars, and they got killed. So they actually made the problem worse by their revolution. So people are afraid of the truth. If we tell people that you have to surrender to Krishna, otherwise you're going to become a cat or a dog, they don't like it at all. It's the truth, but they're very afraid of that. They don't. Once Srila Prabhupada was on a TV show in London, and this show, the host was famous for drilling people and making them look foolish. And he said, "Swamiji, do you believe in hell?" Because at that time, in Britain, there was whatever people used to believe in the old time, they thought it was stupid. You believe in chastity and marriage and all that. Anything old is stupid. Everything we need everything, new ideas. So this idea of religion and God and hell, they thought was. So do you believe in hell? And Prabhupada said, yes, London is hell. And the guy was stumped. He didn't know, he couldn't imagine such a response. And Prabhupada then went on to explain, you see, it's always cold and dark and raining, and the guy's getting more and more distressed. He said, but it's your great credit that you developed such an advanced civilization in such a hellish place. Another time in London, Prabhupada on a TV show, then he was saying, so what? He was asked, so what happens if according to you, what happens to people if they don't become Krishna conscious? Prabhupada said they become cats and dogs. The show was stopped, live show. They stopped it early. Finished. People are afraid of the truth. They don't like the truth. Why? Because that brings austerity. Means no more beer and girlfriends. Responsibility. We have to lead our life in a responsible way. Prithu Prabhu, I learned from him a line from John Lennon. Living is easy with eyes closed. But actually it's not, because that's the illusion. That's self-cheating, because with eyes closed we can imagine that life is very nice, but then again we have to die and get born again and again and again. It's the ostrich with his head in the sand, thinking that the enemy is coming to get me, some animal is coming to kill me, I put the head in the sand, don't see. Or the rabbit closes his eyes as just before the dogs catch him and kill him. So this idea that this self-cheating, that we can live happily in this world, it's foolishness. So to open people's eyes to actual knowledge of our eternal existence in relationship with Krishna, to give this truth, that is actually welfare work. This whole welfare work, it's all cheating. Even those organizations who take money and use it actually for helping the people that they say they're helping. Even if they are in that sense sincere, it's also a kind of cheating, because it perpetuates the myth that, well, if we just cure people from their diseases and we just take them out of their poverty, although as Jesus said, the poor will always be with us. If we just make some adjustments, then we can be happy. It's another kind of cheating. Everything in this world is cheating. Feed the children in the school so they can have a better future, build up the nation. It's all cheating. Only giving Krishna consciousness as it is not cheating. But it's not easy to give it. Like in Croatia now, if you say it's karma, people get all angry. If you tell them, Sach bole to mare larti, they'll beat you with a stick. Only people who are serious about understanding the truth can begin to accept these things. Hare Krishna. I'll finish there for now. All glories to His Divine Grace, Srila Prabhupada. That's it for now.
Bhakti Vikasa Swami Maharaj ki.